Hi guys, welcome to the Fife Property's weekly property update where we'll look at the Fife property market overall and the number of transactions and the number of properties sold right across every region of Fife to see where we are in terms of supply and demand. So this is covering the week from the 15th of November to the 21st of November. So 7 days just passed and see where we are with this. So let's take a look over the region in terms of the number of transactions versus the number of the properties sold and see where we are in terms of supply and demand. Okay, so you can see the Cooper area in the last week. There have been 7 properties overall instructed on the market by all the estate agents in Fife. There's been 10 properties sold, so there's still a huge demand in the Cooper area. This follows a pattern or trend that's been happening over the weeks. In terms of the East Nuke market, you've got 6 properties instructed and 4 sold. Well, to be honest, that's only a short-term blip. Every single other week is showing the number instructed to the number sold coming on as outweighed it in terms of the number sold. Good evening, Andrea. How are you? If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. More than happy to give you that information if you've got anything you want to ask now. St Andrews market, you can see 10 properties come on and 9 sold, so still good stability there. Leavenmouth market, 9 come on, 11 sold, so still Leavenmouth's outstripping the number of properties coming on. Dunfermline market, 30 on, 46 sold. Now that again has shown a week-on-week trend of outstripping the properties sold to the number coming on. So good demand there. I expect in the Dunfermline market you'll probably find offers coming over more than the price asked for. Glenrothes, 6 come on, 7 sold again, the other way around as usual as to weeks before. Kirkcaldy, 34 come on, 25 sold, but overall you can see 102 hit the market in the week and 112 sold. That is no surprise. We can see that happening all the time just now. So there's really, really good demand throughout Fife overall. Let's talk about some of the recent successes in Fife for ourselves. You know, this shows a pattern of behaviour though when you think about it, and the number of properties coming on to the number sold, it shows demand outstripping supply, and this is probably a classic example. So Sloane Street in St Andrews, 250,000 came on the market and it was gone in 24 hours. Record price. Hall Street, Kettlebridge came on. Again, it actually fell through with the buyer. It came on again, and within 4 days it was away again. Shore Street in Anstruther, just above the chemists, overlooking the harbour. That came on the market at 180,000, and within 7 days it was gone. Record price again. High Street in Ely came on the market, offers over 750,000. 2 days it was gone. Haven Court, gone. Westbury in East Weems, offers over 350,000, gone. And this has all happened in this week for us. So there's a really, really good supply. There's a really, really good demand. And the ones coming on this week, watch out for our pre-launch, Newmill Gardens in St Andrews. That's going to be happening tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing a pre-launch there. Absolutely classic house. Off street, so you've got your own driveway, it goes up and it's hidden within all the houses. So it's not on the street itself, it's at the back, all hidden. And a big, big garden, big, big property. And Inverare Street and St Monans is also coming on this week as well. So why is this property market booming? You know, a combination of things, I think. It's a combination of the number of, the amount of money that's available. I mean, clearly, when you think about the logic of this, no one's going to the theatre. No one's going to the concerts. No one's really going to restaurants. No one's going to the pubs. Because obviously lockdown, we're all in our homes. So there's an abundance of kind of money floating about. Typically, everybody thinks, well, I've got a lot of money, so I tell you what, why not get a bigger mortgage? That's one of the things I think is happening, because I see that across the board when I ask people. The other thing is as well is lockdown has taught us we can work from home. Classic example of that. So we can work from home. So I tell you what, I'm going to get a bigger house, because I need a room to actually specifically have for working from home. So you've got that audience as well. You've got the city audience, all the big cities like Glasgow, Dundee, Edinburgh, London, Birmingham, and also up north, you've got Aberdeen and that. There's a lot of people coming in to the East Nuke area to retire, to work, to live, and then all they're doing is they're just commuting to their work 2 days a week because they don't need to work from a position of employment anymore in the city. They actually can work from home and just travel in. Good evening, Julie. How are you? So that tends to be why the market's booming. Furloughs obviously been increased and extended, and things are still moving forward in the right direction, a positive direction, although we don't know what's going to happen next year. So, but the market is still buoyant. If you're looking to sell, now is always still the time. It makes no difference when you think about it. Even if the market dropped, when you think about the logic of this, if the market dropped, your house price drops, the property you're buying drops. So if you've got a lot of equity in your property, you can still move quite comfortably, and it's like for like proportionately. So it wouldn't really make any difference. A lot of people as well are actually moving ahead of themselves, trying to beat the deadline for the 31st of March when the actual stamp duty threshold goes back to 140,000 for exemption from 250,000. So you can see that happening. We get inquiries all the time from people outside the area looking for properties that we've got on in the bigger area of the market, and the 300,000s, the 250,000s, and it is a good buy to them because they're in the city. Well, for example, Glasgow Merchant City, a 2-bedroom flat in Glasgow and Merchant City is £380,000. What would that buy you in Fife? A castle. A castle, I hear some people saying. Maybe not quite there, but I tell you what, it would be a cracking house. And that's how people look at it. Okay, so next thing, let's have a look at one of the articles. I've actually put the link into the comments on here. So this is one of the articles we've been looking over the weekend that I've written up as Fife first-time buyers have been locked out the Fife property market. Rents have risen by 2.8%. So you can read this at your leisure. We did actually a property show on it as well. So the property show will be on there. We did that yesterday morning's Fife Property Show. We did an hour-long show, talked about this in length and detail. So Fife rents have risen from last year from on average of £752 a month to £773 per month over the last 12 months, an increase of 2.8%. And it talks about as well what's driving that market, what's moving that market up. It also talks about as well as in the Fife market, the land registry property values are currently stand at 3.3% year on year above. Now, what's driving that forward in terms of these numbers are the detached Fife homes in Fife are 5.7% higher in price as they were 12 months ago. So that average is 3.3% right across the board. Detached homes in Fife are 5.7% higher so far in the year on year. Semi-detached homes are 4.8% higher in price than they were a year ago. Townhouse and terrace houses, that's a house either side of them, or in a row of houses, and you're maybe an end terraced. They are 3.4% higher. The one that's actually lagging behind is the apartments. Traditionally, apartments are obviously possibly lower value. You tend to find that first-time buyer and people will go for maybe 2-bedroom semi-detached rather than go for a flat. But the apartments will have their day. That price will bounce back. You usually find as soon as interest rates start to creep up, the price bounces back as a result of that. But remember, these figures don't take into account what's happened now. And we'll only see the ramifications about what's happening now in terms of where we are in spring next year in terms of the property price increases. Let me give you an interesting statistic that we have. Since the start of the year, every property we've put on and the offers we've received, we've managed to achieve another almost £500,000 more than the home report value for all our customers. That shows you how much the market is driven and how much it is more than what it is we're forecasting just now up to this point. So I think spring next year is going to show a huge jump in terms of how property prices have jumped up in the last 12 months. We could see a spike as well in terms of our activity on our websites. Our website last year was receiving, about a year ago, about 200,000 visitors. Now they're receiving 300,000 visitors a year. Now think about that. That is more than, that's about 25,000 visitors every single month. 25,000 every single month almost, in terms of number of visitors. 25,000 people coming straight to Fife Property's website, direct to our website, from all over the country. And that shows us straight away the amount of demand that's in the market, because we've jumped by 50% in terms of number of activity coming onto our website. So what does this mean? It also talks about the doom and gloom. It's not all doom and gloom for first-time buyers, remember. First-time buyers are still out there. 90% mortgages are coming back into the market. Will we see the return of 95% mortgages? I'm not so sure, but 90% mortgages are coming back into the market. There's a few products on there. And one final thought for all Fife home buyers. Be aware it's going to be very challenging to get your house purchase through in time for the 31st of March stamp duty cutoff. If you're starting the process in November, make sure your lender, remember, make sure your lender and solicitor have the capacity to meet the deadline. So ask them these questions first before you go any further and instruct them to do the conveyancing on behalf of you. Make sure they can actually hit that deadline, or you might need to get someone else. Everybody, they're all overwhelmed with the amount of paperwork on their desks. So you need to make sure they can actually hit that deadline for you. Even if you're a cash buyer, they might not necessarily hit that deadline. Land registry closes on the 18th of December for 2 weeks, apparently. So they need all the titles downloaded and property search and inquiry certificates done from there. So make sure your lender and solicitor have the capacity to meet the deadline. And when you're asked for information, drop everything in as soon as they want it and provide them with it straight away. Don't wait 1 or 2 days, because 1 or 2 days could cost you £2,100. If you're buying over 250,000, it's £2,100 that you're saving in stamp duty if you get it in before the end of March. So the odd delay here and there will mean that the difference between you getting the keys for your new Fife home before the end of March 2021 and saving thousands of pounds on stamp duty tax, or feeling a fool on the 1st of April. And that's it for this property roundup. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask me later on or message me on this post. And I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.